This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, in the morning. Today's analysis examines the crisis in the hobbyist computer market caused by volatile memory pricing and the release of Lemonade, a new open-source server from AMD. We look at Cloudflare's launch of EmDash, a rebuilt version of WordPress designed by artificial intelligence agents, and the impact of a proposed 100% tariff on imported patented medicines. This report also covers a new defense framework called RAG Shield for protecting government databases, the certification of a world-first automotive security protocol, and a breakthrough in three-transistor memory cells. Finally, we analyze a new decryption mechanism for the Ethereum mempool and the latest shifts in local-first agentic tools. The hobbyist single-board computer market is currently facing a structural threat due to the rising costs of memory. Analysis from hardware researcher Jeff Geerling indicates that the price of DRAM is effectively killing the viability of low-cost computing projects. Canonical recently raised the minimum system requirements for Ubuntu 26.04 to 6 GB of RAM, a 50% increase from previous standards. This hardware inflation is visible in the latest product shifts from Raspberry Pi. The organization has launched a new 3 GB model of its flagship board to combat increasing costs, as the 16 GB flagship model now approaches the price of a Mac Mini. The primary driver is a global shortage of memory chips, redirected toward the high-margin requirements of data centers and large-scale intelligence clusters. For hobbyists, this means the era of the $35 versatile computer has ended, replaced by a market where memory capacity dictates a steep entry price. In response to the demand for efficient local computing, AMD has released Lemonade, an open-source server designed for running language models on local hardware. Lemonade is specifically optimized to utilize both the graphics processing unit and the neural processing unit, or NPU. This dual-processor approach allows for high-speed inference without the power draw typically associated with server-grade hardware. The tool provides a standardized interface for developers to host private models, effectively bridging the gap between cloud-based services and desktop-level performance. By focusing on the NPU, Lemonade enables consistent, low-latency performance for agentic tasks, such as code generation and real-time document analysis. This release marks a strategic move by AMD to secure the developer ecosystem for its latest generation of hardware, prioritizing open-source access over proprietary cloud silos. Cloudflare has announced EmDash, which it describes as an open-source spiritual successor to WordPress. This is a grounded development, as Cloudflare engineers utilized artificial intelligence coding agents to rebuild the foundational architecture of WordPress from the ground up. The primary objective of EmDash is to eliminate the persistent security vulnerabilities associated with third-party plugins. By using a fresh, agent-written codebase, EmDash implements a more secure sandbox environment for extensions. This approach addresses a decade-old problem in web infrastructure where unvetted plugins serve as the primary entry point for site compromises. The project demonstrates a new paradigm in software maintenance, using autonomous agents to refactor and harden legacy systems that have become too complex for manual human security audits. The pharmaceutical sector is bracing for significant disruption as the Trump administration prepares an executive order to impose a 100% tariff on patented medicines and their active ingredients. This policy targets high-value imports, potentially doubling the cost of specialized treatments for domestic consumers. Simultaneously, Eli Lilly has received FDA approval for a new obesity pill, marking a transition from injectable treatments to more accessible oral medications. While the approval expands a market for metabolic health, the proposed tariffs create a conflict between expanding access and increasing the costs of the chemical precursors required for manufacturing. Analysts suggest this may force a rapid and expensive onshore migration of active pharmaceutical ingredient production to avoid the heavy duties on imported supplies. This is a signal from the future. A new defense framework called RAG Shield has been introduced to protect federal retrieval augmented generation systems. This is an under-the-radar development because it addresses knowledge-based poisoning. Researchers found that an adversary only needs to inject 10 malicious documents into a database to achieve a 98% success rate in manipulating the output of a government intelligence agent. RagShield uses provenance-verified checks to ensure that the data the agent reads has not been tampered with by external actors. In a related under-the-radar breakthrough, engineers have solved the scaling wall for embedded memory. By moving from a traditional 6-transistor cell to a new 3-transistor architecture, researchers have created a way to fit more memory directly onto logic chips. This is critical for agentic systems that require fast, on-chip memory to minimize the energy used when moving data between the processor and the RAM. Community sentiment is focused on a series of privacy alerts. Security researchers have found evidence that LinkedIn is allegedly performing unauthorized scans of local user files. This has triggered a wave of enshittification labels across technical forums as users move toward more private social alternatives. In security chatter, WhatsApp has alerted over 200 users after an Italian firm reportedly deployed spyware via a fake version of the mobile app. The ransomware group Dragon Force has also posted a surge of new strikes, listing targets such as CES Imaging and the Singita Group. In the emerging tools space, the repository Claude Code from Source has gained significant traction. It provides a reverse-engineered look at the internals of Anthropic's coding agent, revealing how it handles complex architectural patterns. Additionally, the tool CodeAny has emerged as a new Go-based terminal agent for automated systems administration. Finally, the developer community is mourning the loss of Jane Goodall, who passed away at 91, with many noting her foundational impact on how we understand complex social systems. This concludes the Synthetic Signal Report for Thursday.